So now I'd like to hand it over to Uncle Krishnan Nair, who is the Zone 3 Chair of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. Sairam, Uncle, over to you.
Thank you very much, Donit. With loving pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Swami, dear brothers and sisters, loving Sairam to all of you. Of late, we have been inundated with communications in the form of emails and social media on the topic of the formation of a global council. Whilst every attempt has been made by the country leadership to address the concerns of devotees, some have requested for further information and clarity. There are many centers that have said that they do not wish to be burdened by global council issues and are happy to continue as they presently do. But for the devotees who want to know more, we thought it will be best to have a webinar with the members of Prashanti Council. So we have with us today Dr. Narendranath Reddy, Chairman of Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, Mr. Leonardo Gutta and Dr. Anupom Ganguli, members of Prashanti Council, and Dr. Suresh Govind from Malaysia, who is the chair of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization Spiritual Studies Committee. These gentlemen have been intimately involved in the discussions, having spent many long hours in discussing and generating the terms of reference for the Global Council. They will take us through the process that ensued, and at the end, participants' questions will be answered. So it is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Reddy to address us all. Dr. Reddy, please.
With love, reverence, gratitude, and humility, I offer my prayerful pranams at the divine lotus feet of our dearest, sweetest, loving, and omnipresent Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sairam to all of you. And I pray and hope that all of you are safe, healthy, and happy. And let us all of us pray, because Swami says prayer is the greatest powerful instrument to our Lord, who is embodiment of love and compassion, to shower his grace, love, and help all the people who are and their families who are affected by the COVID-19 all over the world, and especially in the countries you are living, like Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. So I heard recently that even Sydney is in a lockdown now. It is like that in many countries around the world. I hear the news, and really it is so sad. Our focus should be on those people who are afflicted. We should know the priority. Priority is number one, Swami, and second is how to serve the society. In this regard, I want to share with you our Sri Sathya Sai International Organization has been very active in serving these COVID-affected families since March of last year. So in various ways, even right now, because recently there was a major problems with the COVID-19 pandemic in India. So we started providing relief to many countries, but recently more focused on India. We provided the oxygen supplies. We provided the more than few hundred oxygen concentrators and provided to many thousands of families the food, the families who are deprived of their livelihood. We try to help. And also in addition to that, this COVID relief, 19 relief activities were extended to the many countries in Africa and to Latin America. And I heard, I'm very happy to hear that Australia are extending some help to the Fiji, the people affected in Fiji, the victims. So this is our priority. Swami says he will be pleased when we follow his teachings and serve our fellow brothers and sisters. So now Brother Krishnan Nair has requested, as he mentioned, there are some people who have some questions, concerns, and they want some clarity regarding the recent developments after the announcement of the Global Council. So I want to first mention, this is very important, all of us more than anything remember, we are the most blessed and fortunate on this planet Earth. Among the 7.4 billion people, we are the one who heard the name of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, the Kali Yuga avatar, having heard his name and heard his glory and known his story, and most importantly, know his universal and eternal message. So that is the greatest. But more than that, as they say, many are called and few are chosen. For us to be chosen to be part of the divine mission and be able to serve his instrument of love is especially his grace. And never in the history of humankind it happened that in the lifetime of an avatar, that an organization bearing his sacred name was started in so many countries. So we had, during the lifetime of avatar itself, 120 countries, we have the presence doing his work, spreading his love, spreading his message. So and serving the communities where we live. This is the greatest opportunity, and that is the gift from Swami. Satya Sai International Organization is a gift from Swami for our own redemption. So God doesn't need an organization. Even in the history, as I was telling, after the Jesus Christ left, it took few hundred years for the Christian's mission to develop. Same thing with Lord Buddha. But here, in the lifetime of Avatar, Swami started this organization which was founded by him, which was nurtured by him, and was constantly guided by him. That is our good fortune. So we need to preserve the sanctity of that organization which Swami has given, bearing in mind the purpose of the whole organization is only for our own transformation and realizing our innate divinity, and help our brothers and sisters also in the process to realize their innate divinity. But more importantly, we need to manifest that innate divinity by living his message. So I wanted to tell how Swami has nurtured it. Actually, there are devotees who have gone to Swami much before the organizations. When Swami declared at the age of 14 that he is the avatar, when he gave the first message, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam, worship the feet, that time itself, devotees from all over India, people in the nooks and corners came, and people even from overseas countries were coming. Many devotees were coming into the what is the old called Pathamandir. Then subsequently, the devotees started coming from many countries. But then they thought they wanted to start an organization. So it started as early as 1965. So actually, we'll show a short video clip how in 1965 in Sri Lanka, the devotees said they wanted to have an organization. And Swami, in his infinite kindness, he himself authorized them to have a general body meeting. And subsequently, it happened for 1969, Swami wrote to Mrs. Elsie Cohen in America. So between 1965 to 75, many countries like USA, UK, and some of the European countries, Italy, so all these countries started joining the international organization because that is the way Swami attracts. Swami never visited any of these countries till 1968. He went to East Africa. But other than that, East African countries, he never visited. But he has his own way because he's omnipresent. His love attracts everybody. So I wanted to show you later on, when it is available, this video clip, how Swami personally guided since 1965, then 68, then we had 70s. All these countries started. The more the Swami's glory, his expansion is happening as people are touched, more and more countries, devotees started coming. Then what happened? Swami said, was giving personal instruction to these people wherever they started. Actually, one of the devotees from Mexico, she was telling, she went there more than 50 years ago. Swami gave the instruction how to run a center, men and women separate, no solicitation of funds, how they should sing the glories of the Lord in their own language so that it comes from the heart. Like the personal detail, Lord of the universe going into the personal detail. Then the more and more countries started coming. Then when it came to so many countries in 1975, Swami formed the World Council, because you need a body to help people to run the organization. They need a guidelines how to run the center, because there are so many different diverse cultures and all that. Then it went on expanding even more. Then when it expanded, because Swami himself appointed the World Council members. In 1987, that means for 12 years, this World Council was doing its work. And 1987, Swami said it served its purpose. He dissolved the World Council. But it's almost World Council is like Global Council. He dissolved. He says it served its purpose. Now let us move on. Because each country can do their own running of the organization under the umbrella of the international organization. He says each country, because the culture is different, languages are sometimes different, and the religious background is different, and law of the land is different. Swami knows everything, past, present, and future. You know, some countries like Russian-speaking countries, Middle East countries, they have to be very sensitive to the local religious background and culture. So that happened, and Swami dissolved it. So then it went on even increasing more and more. So the more and countries, but Swami was guiding as it developed various different developments. Then Swami formed the coordinators for the Eastern countries who can guide these various countries together. Then as it developed, in 2003, Swami formed the Prashanti Council. And Swami said this will be the administrative body of this Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. And Swami himself personally appointed the Prashanti Council members, Dr. William Harvey, Leonardo Gota, myself, and Dr. Goldstein. So he appointed these, and Marian Myers. So all these people were appointed by Swami himself. In fact, I want to relate to you, in 2004, Swami called me for lunch, me and Dr. Goldstein, to his house. In those times, the Swami's house was moved to the house next to Prashanti, in the Purnachandra auditorium. Swami was there before he moved to the Yajur Mandir. And he said, Swami said, because till then I was more involved with Swami's blessings as a devotee, was not intensely involved in the organization. Swami said, you be the member of the Prashanti Council and take more responsibility from now on. So Swami gave the instructions how to do, what the guidelines are, how we should run. Then subsequently, actually our friends can corroborate that. Again, this happened in Prashanti Nilayam. And then later on, we were in Vrindavan, latter part of the year. And then Trai Vrindavan, Swami called again, myself, Dr. Goldstein, Dr. Harvey, Leonardo Gota, and fed us, served the nice, beautiful food, and then gave us the guidelines and gave instruction. Now you should go to all corners of the world and spread my message. So Swami guided. So he was telling us, and we submitted the guidelines, what to do. And then subsequently he said, to share my message to other people, you should conduct public meetings. He told us to conduct public meetings around the world. Some of you have participated in that, where he gave even instructions. What is the theme? One time he says, unity is divinity, purity is in enlightenment. Another time, love. Different themes, and which we showed to Swami. And then he said, speakers, first speaker, 40 minutes, second speaker, 20 minutes. He even gave the timings. So he went into the minute detail, the Lord of the universe, and he guided us, and also what kind of questions we should entertain and how we should answer. Then as it expanded, in 2006, just a little bit earlier to that, Swami knew we were submitting throughout the progress. He said, now you need a legal structure, because Prashanti Council was body of administrative body, but not registered. Then he said, because you need a, wherever there is logos we have for the organization, or when there is various publications we do, or audiovisual material, so they all need to be copyrighted. And also for doing any service activities where we have funds to use for the various projects, you need a body. So Swami said, you need a legal structure. So then we formed the World, he formed the World Foundation, and there also Swami appointed the directors. And Swami wanted the bylaws, because it is a legal structure, he wanted the bylaws. So then the bylaws were developed by an attorney, and the whole document was taken to Bhagavan for his review, blessings, and approval. So Swami reviewed it word by word, and what to be deleted, what to be put, and because he says, oh, if you put this, that countries will be a problem, because it is not like one country homogeneous like Australia by itself, India by itself. We have so many countries with the diverse cultures, different laws of the land. Some countries you can't even put that they have their own constitution. You can't impose on them. So Swami is all knowing. He guided what to be done, how it to be done. So he appointed the directors to the World Foundation, Dr. Goldstein, myself, that time Giri, and subsequently he continued the same thing. We will be showing that also. This was, Swami said, please publish it in the Sanatana Saradi. Then, Sanatana Saradi is the voice of the avatar. So he started it in February 16, 1958. So to spread his message through various things, which came out as Vahini series and others. So then he said, publish it as the divine command. We didn't know, nobody puts in bylaws divine command, but Swami, we could have just said it is formed, but Swami says put it as divine command, which probably a lot of you seen. This is in March of 2006. Then subsequently, we were showing the progress, and in December of 2006, again Swami changed. He expanded the board of directors. Then other people were formed, Gary Bells and Dora and A.V. Ramakrishna. So Swami was showing interest and guiding us at every step. And this process continued till Swami left his physical form. That is till 2011. But till November of 2010, we could personally go there, pray to Swami, and Swami would look at them and update the guidelines which we shared with the officers and devotees. But in 2011, Swami's body took toll, and he was subjected to illness, so we didn't want to bother him. But still, important issues, he still continued to guide us. So the main thing is, from the inception, where he wrote letter to senior devotees like Elsie Cowan, Dr. Hislop, and Sydney Crystal, we have many documents which we are sure personally Swami has written. Till he left his body, over 60 years, Swami has been guiding. So it is his baby. He gave the baby, he guided, nurtured, and nourished, and gave it, and told us to take care as his divine command. So it is our duty to preserve the sanctity of this divine organization which bears his name. So that is what we have been doing. We are doing very well, actually, 120 countries, and we have so many programs, both in our own countries and even in Prashanti Nilayam, working with India, and Swami was pleased with many of our programs. You are all part of that. And then this is going on, very happy. So suddenly, to our surprise, that is why we are three brothers. Swami, here I want to clarify, Swami for the international organization to run and administer this, govern the various countries, how to help them run their own units. Then the India organization for India. And then the Central Trust for running the ashram and the institutes in the ashram. Actually, Mr. Chakravarti and also confirms to that. In 2013, his interview with Radio Sai, we will also show that to you. And then subsequently, Swami instructed that this process will continue. So even now, people may say, what is happening? In his omnipresent form, he is still guiding us. We all, because he gave how the officers to be appointed, what the bylaws. When things are running like this, 2020, in November 16, we received a document called concept paper from the Central Trust saying that please review, and we are going to have this global council announced. We looked at the paper, it was shocking. So first we could say that we right away responded, this will create management and legal difficulties. We should wait about this till we meet in Prashanthanilaya. We have a document. I replied right away, and even I called. This, I thought they will put a hold. Even Brother Leonardo will attest to that. He also called. And then to our surprise, without our agreement or approval, unilaterally, they announced that Global Council on November 23rd. So whenever we working together, there should be mutual agreement and consensus. They went ahead and announced it. It caused a lot of confusion among many officers and devotees. They said, what is happening? I myself didn't know till they announced. Then I had to call them and express my concern. This is creating a lot of confusion. Better we wait till we have all the stakeholders sit down and talk. So then from there on, many communications. We had emails, we had phone calls. These are all documented starting November 16th till June 27th. People think, oh, there is no attempt dialogue. Not only emails, not only phone calls, and we even had on May 30th, we had a Teams meeting with the Central Trust, other trust members, and on June 17th, we had a Zoom meeting, and also phone calls from other people like Leonardo Gota and also Anupom with the trustees. So we tried our best to have a dialogue. Finally, we thought, what is the purpose of Global Council? They said, yes, to reach unity. I said, yes, very good. The Swami says that unity is the one which is the most important. Yes, we will try to have unity in what? In doing the divine mission. What is the divine mission? Divine mission is two things important. To make us realize our divinity. In that process, two things help. One is spreading his teachings, message, go dive deep into his message, translate into all languages and send. And second thing which we'll do is by doing the loving selfless service to people. These are the two focus. I said, let us work together. We always have been working with India. We helped in the Uttarakhand relief, Tamil Nadu relief, Orissa relief, and many things and many projects in Prashanthanilaya, in the hospitals, universities. We are all working as brothers. We have no problem working in unity. In fact, in 2019, in June, we were there. First time we arranged a joint dinner for all the things. SSSIOA sponsored that. We said, let us all meet. We all love Swami, Saraswami. We should all meet together. Whether from the international organization, all the officers from India, and from the ashram, from the university, from the hospitals, everybody, let us be together. That is why we have that fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man. We all should be together. So it went and everybody was happy. So we thought we are all united. But then they said we need to have this unity. That is why we need a global council. So sure, we can have greater unity. Whatever we are not doing now, we can do that. Then in their document, they say, people, if you want, our Krishnan Nair can share. The first document says authority, under the authority of the Central Trust, orders, under the supervision. So everything is, we are all brothers. That means you say we are equals, but somebody is telling, we will tell you what to do. So that's our officers, all of us, we met with our zone chairs, our Prashanti Council members, and World Foundation directors. Unanimously, everybody said, we'll work together, sure, as a coordinating body, cooperation, consulting, but not somebody telling us, because this is Swami's thing. Who can overrule Swami's divine command? That is going against. So with this, we presented that, and then we had a meeting, and finally we agreed, hey, let us work on that. And some other trust members said, yes, we can have a coordinating body. Actually, Brother Leonardo was there in the meeting, Anupom, Ganguli, they can also substantiate. Then we issued a joint statement with that understanding. the joint statement. Please read that carefully. People don't. We will join the Global Council if these two conditions are met. No change in the structure and function of the international organization. Second, we will develop a terms of reference which is acceptable to all parties. Anything, whenever you want something where you want to get together, everybody should be on the same page. We should all agree. They said yes. So that is actually, you read that, you can see that we'll join the Global Council if these two conditions are met. And subsequently, when we send the terms of reference, where we said everything we propose that we'll continue the mission, we'll spread Swami's teachings will be translated in various languages, we'll do various projects together. So all that, but I think structure and function should not be disturbed. That means, so there should not be supervising body. We are all consulting, coordinating body. But then they came back and said, hey, that is the most important, is supervising body. If you cannot supervising body, we cannot go ahead with that. And we are doing all these discussions through the mails and all that. Suddenly we get this email on June 26th saying that we don't accept it. No more dialogue, no more mails, or no more calls. That means don't bother us. We're surprised, my God. Even if you want to say that we don't want to, that is not the way to say just no dialogue. You can read that in his thing, the last part, no dialogue, calls, or communication, email. So unconditionally, you just come and join. I said, my God, unconditional only we do to God. Unconditional surrender we do to God. We don't do to humans. We always have discussion because God only is permanent, eternal, and perfect. We humans, we have all our own imperfections. We can make mistakes. That is why we need to have dialogue, discussion, and consensus. That is because Swami is indweller of each one of us. So no one person has complete control over the wisdom of everything. That is why we discuss among ourselves. And finally, after consultation with the Prashanti Council members, World Foundation directors, and the zone chairs, which we had a series of, even today we had, and we had last week before, because I believe I cannot make a decision as one person. We are a collective decision. We are all in this together as one family, and it is important to give respect to all. So the collective decision opinion is they are abruptly, unilaterally, they are stopping the discussion. This is not right. Then how can we join Global Council? So if they are not honoring those two things, what they said they would, and then also not only on the top of it, unilaterally and abruptly stopping the discussion, saying no dialogue and no calls and things, how can we join that? I said that we cannot. That will be going against Swami's teachings and command. So we said we won't be able to join when it is like that. That will be displeasing Swami. Our highest priority, obligation is to love Swami and follow his teachings. Because Swami said, you can go and verify on May 17th, 1968. I said, for every devotee, this applies, not to whether you belong to organization or not. He says, you realize the highest goal of life. You reach the summum bonum of life by implicitly, immediately, and completely following my teachings more than all the austerities like japa, meditation, or anything. So the important thing is follow his teachings. I said, we cannot do that. And then also they mention that Prashanti Nilayam, certain privileges will be only for the People Global Council. We have been going to Swami since I went there to Swami at the age of 5. There was no Kulanthal, no Mandir. So that time, Patha Mandir time. Swami's love is for all people, beyond the race, religion, caste, creed. He says because he's this infinite love. So he was inviting everybody, and you don't need to belong to any organization. His love is unconditional. So that means Prashanti Nilayam is home for all of us, every devotee of the Lord, because he is our divine mother and father. So, and he told many times to each, and some of you might also, he would have told you, Swami, when should I come back? This is your home. For your house, you don't need invitation. You can come anytime. So he said many times. So we need to have that conviction. It is God who gave us assurance. Our connection with him is forever, and with Prashant Nilayam, nobody can change. So anybody who comes, puts an obstacle for that, or puts a obstruction for that, or put a condition for that, then that means it is against dharma. It is not dharmic. Swami's love is unconditional, and you cannot put any condition. So we decided we are not joining Global Council, this kind, and we'll continue our work as usual. So at the end, the important thing is our organization has been running well all along with its various activities, programs, and if somebody else comes and tells how he is empowered, only Swami can tell us and change. So our decision to not to join, run our organization the way it is, this is founded by Swami. So we have two choices. We want to follow Swami Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba and SSSIOA, which was established by him, versus Global Council, which is established by Ratnakar and some trustees. So which is the one which you follow? We decided we'll follow Bhagavan, because that is the one which takes the goal. Even we may be whoever we are, we will stand for truth and dharma, because that is what God has given. So number one, our organization, all the Sathya Sai centers, groups, schools, institute, trusts will run as usual without any change, because nobody can tell us what to do, because each one of us have our own structure, law of the land, constitution, like even for schools, everything. So let nobody give you wrong message, can confuse you. So all of us make sure our organization will run as before, no change at all. And second thing is our connection to Swami and Prashant Nilayam is unchanged, not only for now or for eternity, because Swami was with us, he is with us, and will be with us forever. And let not any distraction deviate our focus on Swami and his work, because these are all the various doubts people create. So if you are established in faith with Swami and love, nothing would disturb. So I also received some questions where I looked at it and incorporated some of those answers in the address I gave just now. But if something which was not addressed, what is we are going to address. So number one, we tried to reach unity. We did our best with various discussions. I won't call negotiations, that is for legal. We are one family, but one goes against the Swami's teachings, we don't accept. Our organization structure function will continue the way it is. Our relationship with God and Prashant Nilayam is same as it is. So please let us focus on Swami and continue the work. And we will be happy anytime you need any clarification. Now I invite my brothers who will be speaking now, and they can share their also personal guidance from Swami. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Dear brothers and sisters, I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Master and Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Now I offer my love to all of you. I have very few things to add to what Dr. Reddy had just said. I was a witness of Swami's Sankalpa. I participated in the meetings of the World Council, and I also was a witness when Swami decided to dissolve it, because he said that the international organization has grown so much that it needed to be run by itself. Each country should have their own officers, and he established, as Dr. Reddy has said, the first two groups, East and West, then they put all together, and then he decided to have central coordinators, national council presidents. I was working with Dr. Goldstein at that time, presenting to Swami the guidelines. Swami approved everything. The structure you have in your centers now is what Swami will. These three conveners, the president of the center, the coordinating committee in the country, the regional coordinators, the National Council President, the zonal chairs, everything, the whole structure has been willed by Swami. And he gave us the guidelines, as Dr. Reddy just said. I was in the meeting in his house in 2004 when he treated us with so much love. And he gave us precise instructions about the purpose of the Personality Council, about how we should supervise and run the international organization, about how we have to function. And then he said what Dr. Reddy said, go to every corner of the world and make my message. Then suddenly on November 16, we received this announcement with a concept paper that was completely against the decisions, the will of Swami, the divine instructions Swami gave us for the international organization. I called, Dr. Reddy spoke with many trustees. I called Ratnakar, Brother Ratnakar, and he told me that they were not going to take any decision with our feedback. And he said, we'll respect your structure, your functioning. So I was relieved. But 1 week later, the announcement on birthday was done that they were creating the Global Council. So I spoke with Brother Naganan, and he told me something that shocked me. He said, this is a done deal. They were supposed to wait for our feedback. This was a done deal. Then we started the process of communications. We called different trustees. Dr. Reddy spoke with many of them. I spoke with 3 of them. And then we started communications with emails. And, well, this continued till in May, we decided to invite them to a meeting, a Zoom meeting, to see if we can reach an agreement. So we have a very cordial meeting, and in that meeting it was decided that they were going to respect our structure and functioning, and that the joint statement was going to be released, prepared by us, but agreed by all the 3 bodies, the SSS Organization of India, the SSS International Organization, and the Central Trust, represented by Nimish Pandya, Ratnakar, and Dr. Reddy. So we prepared our terms of reference and submitted it to them. To our surprise, when we sent our terms of reference, theirs came again. And this was again contrary to Swami's divine instructions. Our terms of reference, Brother Suresh will show you, we adjusted completely to what they wanted without compromising the divine instructions given by Swami. And suddenly we received that email that said, no more calls, don't call us anymore, don't contact us, don't send us emails, only contact us when you are ready to surrender unconditionally and accept our terms of reference. And as Dr. Reddy said, we only surrender to Swami, not to the managing trustee. So we didn't decide to walk away from the Global Council. On the contrary, it is stated in the joint statement that we were going to join it based upon these 2 conditions, that our structure and functioning was going to be respected, which they repeated in that meeting so many times, but they put it in writing in the joint statement, and that these terms of reference will be developed and agreed by all parties. So I'm surprised when we are in the process of a conversation, a discussion to reach an agreement, suddenly one party decides not to speak anymore and said, just surrender to our terms of reference. We were supposed to continue the discussion and see if they had some objections with our terms of reference, we could discuss any further, but no. What is the difference in their terms of reference and ours? First of all, they copied our first 4 pages or 5 pages. We thought that the most important part was to implement Swami's divine statements. And in the letter Ratnakar said, he said that this was not the most important part. He told us not to mention any more about the divine command. This was an excuse. And that the most important part was the authority of the Global Council to appoint the key officers of the SSSIOA organization, to appoint any person in any position at any time, so they will have full control. If they don't like the face of a National Council president, of the president of a center, of whoever, they will change it for whoever they like. And then also that they will become a supervising body instead of the coordinator and consultative body. And let me take you a little back. When we were previous to that, when we were in all these discussions, I spoke with Brother Mohan, and he told me, forget the concept paper. Let's do just a consultative and coordinating body with 3 members of the Central Trust, 3 members of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, and 3 members of the Sri Sathya Sai Organization of India. I said, this is very good. I will present it to the Prashanti Council, to Dr. Reddy, but I think we can work with this. Then I called Dr. Reddy, and he was very happy and were willing to and ready to work on that, to be part of that Global Council. But the next day, the next morning, Naganand sent an email to Dr. Reddy, reaffirming the concept paper. So what Mohan told me that was left behind, it was reaffirmed the next day by Brother Naganand. So then we reach this point where we have a decision to make. As Dr. Reddy said, if we are going to follow the divine command, which were given personally to each one of us, it was in the meetings we had with him, not only Dr. Reddy in 2003, we had the general meeting of all the Prashanti Council in 2004, and all the subsequent meetings we had with Swami. He reiterated one time and again his guidelines, his instructions, that we should be an independent body, that we should be run as he decided. So we had to take a decision if we're going to follow the divine command implicitly, or if we're going to surrender to the managing trustee and accept what he wanted. So this is the predicament we had, and there was no time to take the right decision, which was to follow Swami, always to follow Swami. When they told us why they wanted to create this global council, they said at the beginning that they wanted more unity. We were always united. We always cooperated with them. We always helped them. Donations were made until now. 2 weeks ago, we sent $80,000, and a month ago, over $100,000 to them. And we'll continue to help all the work of the Central Trust, the hospitals, the universities, all the legacy of Bhagavan. So we thought that we had unity. We always invited them to our meetings. We exchanged our annual report with them. We informed them. Then they said they thought that this was needed for more communications. We thought that we had communication, but I told them, if we want, we can schedule a monthly or a quarterly or a bi-monthly talk to exchange more information. Then they said another reason, that what will happen when we are not anymore? Who will appoint the officers, and how are we sure that they will be connected to Prashanti Nilayam? And also, to connect more to Prashanti. We are always connected to Prashanti. Prashanti is the home of our Divine Mother and Father. Nothing can cut this bond that we have with Prashanti Nilayam. But then they said, what will happen when we are not anymore, when Dr. Reddy or the members of the Prashanti Council or the members of the Central Trust are not anymore? I was surprised, because that for me means that they don't believe in the omniscience and the divinity of Bhagavan. What Bhagavan left us, the guidelines, the divine instructions, are good not only for now, not only for the next 50 or 500 years, are good forever, because he knows what is going to work, and he left us these very precise instructions that were given personally to us, and the guidelines that you have. These guidelines were given by Swami, by Bhagavan. So there is a procedure how to select the officers, how this will continue for thousands of years in the future. So how can they worry if they believe that Swami is God and has given us the perfect instrument to go ahead? So dear brothers and sisters, I could talk to you for a long time, but first of all, I want to reiterate, we didn't withdraw, we didn't walk out, we are left out. Second, we decided to follow the divine command. Third, the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization has been created and formed by Bhagavan, is working perfectly well, and will continue to work perfectly well forever. So you don't have to worry at all. You have been all not only witnesses, by participating in all the activities we had. The activities in Prashanti, all the events we had there, and during the pandemic, on the online meetings, they reached over 500,000 people that were participating in the Akhanda Bhajans, in all the online meetings we had. Now we are going to have Guru Purnima. We are growing in quality by leaps, and you are a witness of that. So let's continue to work united together Let's continue to work in this incredible gift that Swami gave us, this gift for our own progress, spiritual progress, and to be able to help as many other human beings as possible. I send you all my love. I will leave our brother Suresh to talk to you, and then we will answer any questions you might have. Jai Sai Ram.
And thank you, Leonardo. Before we go to Suresh, I requested our IT people to play just a couple of minutes about the history of organization. They can see visually, and also about how Mr. Chakravarti in 2013 said that the Central Trust has no role to play for the international organization, and also in their website, and how also the declaration. So just this couple of minutes, then I think Suresh can talk about the terms of reference. Another important point is that in terms of reference, they took over all the committees, all the committee functions we have in the international organization, they made it defunct. That is another major difference, which probably Suresh Govind will address. So can you play that video clip, please?
There are a number of organizations all over the country and the world which bears Sri Sathya Sai name. Mm-hmm. They are not directly connected to the Central Trust as an entity. We have to tell them there are Sri Sathya Sai State Trusts, there are other sister trusts, and there is an organization abroad which is not a legal entity, because you have Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. These are all, again, are totally outside the purview of the Central Trust, and we have to inform that the territorial jurisdiction of the Central Trust is only India.
It is my pleasure.
I think we can stop there and go ahead with Suresh, Govind. This was one of the things where we talked about connection to Prashant Nilayam. Now, I think Suresh will be talking about the views regarding terms of reference, and he is knowledgeable about the developments too.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. By the infinite love, grace, and compassion of Bhagavan Baba, we come today to clarify a few issues, especially regarding to the terms of reference. Actually, I've just met all of you in that recent conference on unity, and it's so lovely to meet all of you back again. I wish this was another spiritual conference, and it'll be very nice to just speak laughingly and lovingly to all of you. But this is something that we need to convey and communicate, because there are quite a lot of people who are concerned and seeking clarification, especially when the point of departure was really in this document. So I'm going to just go briefly through this document, and this is the sequence of event that has taken place. The terms of reference, the first version was given to us on the 23rd of April. This was the version by the Central Trust. Then there was a joint statement that everybody received, a joint statement by all the three different organizations. And then subsequently, when based upon the terms of reference that was given, a terms of reference of the version 2 was, our version was proposed by the Sri Sathya Sai International SSSIOA. And then there was another terms of reference given by the Central Trust, rebounding to that, which is what is now circulating in the website. That website, that is why people, when you get access to that website and we can see that terms of reference, what they have done is they've taken some pages of our terms of reference and put it on theirs. And basically that is that version that is now circulating in the website. Then came the letter of rejection by Sri Ratnakar, the letter to Dr. Reddy, and that has already been elaborated by our dear brothers. Then subsequently, we released a statement to the members not to join, because you might be confused as to whether we should or we should not. And then subsequently, the video itself, just now we explained how the three organizations are separate. So this is the chronological order of things. Okay. Now, this is the terms of reference. I just want all of you, dear brothers and sisters, to pay attention to this document. It is a little bit dull because it is a terms of reference. But if you can just pay attention to some of these things, because then it will be easier to explain to the members as to why this confusion is and what is the point of departure. Okay, so this is the terms of reference which was given officially to us on the 23rd of April by the Central Trust. Now, the object is no problem to unify, strengthen, expand Sri Sathya Sai organization worldwide and firmly establish the connection to Prashant Nilayam. So we didn't have any issue with this. Then they mentioned that Sathya Sai Global Council members will be permitted to perform programs. So these are the privileges. Okay, those of you joined there, you will get programs. Then you will be able to have priority seating, and then you can have any talks in the Sai Kulvan Hall. Any conferences can be done. There can be group singing and bhajans and the immediate divine presence, priority group accommodations, and everything else. It's all privileges. Now the main concern the devotees have is that hey, when I go to Prashant Nilayam, can we get to have the darshan of the Mahasamadhi darshan, and also can we get our rooms? Now these assurances have already been given by both Brother Naganand and Brother Ratnakar, that any devotee who comes, whether you are global council or non-global council, these two privileges, or these two, not privileges, these two basically what we call our birthright, will not be denied because it is a public place, and that will not be denied. But maybe others like presentations and all that, that's okay. That they have said that will not be done, but it's okay. We have got our two main aspects that is covered. Now, the rest of the terms of reference is with regarding to the Global Council, what is from their suggestions, what do you call it, if what efforts have been made to give an all-inclusive structure. This is what they have put inside the document. The memberships now is that all the countries will be members of the Global Council, along with central coordinators, zonal chairs will be members of the Global Council, All India President, as well as the Central Trusts will have nominate 3 trustees as members of Global Council. I'm purposely going through this their document carefully, so that you can understand. They also formed a one executive committee, which will have 3 trustees appointed by Central Trust, zonal chairs, all India president, managing trustees of the Central Trust, and the chairman of Global Council will be the chairman of the executive committee. Then they have an executive committee 2, but this executive committee is tailored more for India, where they have their 3 members and then the Indian organizations and the managing trustee and the chairman. So this is the executive committee 2 functioning for India. Then, of course, the way they meet is that quarterly they will be meeting, and all the Global Council meetings will be held twice a year. Now, this is where the point is. The appointments is that Executive Committee 2 will be the appointing bodies of all the office bearers in all the organization's position except chairman of Global Council, all India president, and international chairman. Executive Committee can extend, reappoint, remove any office bearer. They can draw any devotee, expert office bearer to play a role in the function. So they can do anything. They can put any devotee, expert, anybody whom they think that is suitable to play a role, then they can sit in that particular chair. Zonal chairs, country heads, central coordinator, and regional coordinator will be appointed under the signature of the chairman of the Global Council. At this point of time, the chairman of the Global Council is Sri Chakravarti. And then the appointments, various office bearers and members of all committee of zonal level will be appointed under the signature of zonal chairs. All the national council of the Indian organization will be appointed under the signature also of global, of the chairman of Global Council, national coordinator, state president, and other office bearers will be appointed under the signature of all India president. This is India. Now, this is their structure in which they have literally changed the structure and function of the Young Adults Committee, EHV Committee, Spiritual Committee, Service Coordinator, Medical Subcommittee, Education Committee. So, which means to say that they have now the ability to manage, control, or even appoint these people in their respective positions in all these things. And then they have also modified the functioning of it. Is each zone will have one young adult leader, each zone will have a spiritual leader, each zone will have a Seva wing leader. So every zone will be structured and managed in the way in which they are proposing. So all these are very detailed point, but the overarching message is that there's going to be a change in the structure and the function. Including the ISSE, the institutes, Sathya Sai Institute, schools, and then they will also have the separate committees. For example, right now we have our own committee, but they will also have humanitarian relief committee, IT committee, archival committee. These are all committees that have been set up. Possibly they will also have these committees, and then maybe they'll appoint separate ways of managing and functioning. Functioning is that the Indian organization, they have got their own office bearers and volunteers, and this is the structure that they have proposed for the Indian side. So Global Council office will be located at Prashanthi Nilayam. They have their own modus operandi of how they can manage the office. And the role of the Sathya Sai Central Trust is that the Sathya Sai Central Trust will appoint the chairman of the Global Council, all India president, as well as the chairman of the International SSSIOA. This is going to be the appointment of the Central Trust. But so this is the main point that's blank-coded in yellow color. Now, this is the terms of reference that was proposed by us. Now, this was done over weeks and weeks and weeks of countless nights, of countless hours, days and nights. Why? Why did we take so much? We took it like a sadhana. What was the reason for us to do this? Because we actually said, all right, and we wanted to respect the spirit in which we said in the coordinating, in the joint statement that was released. We said that we will work on the terms of reference so that we all can be part of the Global Council. And that we wanted to adhere, because thought, word, and deed must be the same. And spirituality must mean that each of us must make sure that when we have said something, we must adhere to it. So we went backwards to accommodate everything and anything, and this document now clearly shows how much we have done. Now, we open the document with Bhagavan's words. Now, why do we do this? Because we can keep on talking of structure and function until the cows come home. If we have a structure without understanding the mission of Sathya Sai, it is no use. Any organization in this world must firstly correspond and conform to a mission. Then the structure forms itself for the purposes of fulfilling the mission. That's how every organization is set in this world. So when we opened our document, we clearly put guys, let us not worry too much about the structure and function. Let the Global Council become the custodian of what? Custodian of Bhagavan's words. What was his words? And these are his words that we culled from the letter written on May 25th, 1947 to his brother. He said, I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure for all of them, all of their lives are full of ananda. I have a vow to lead all who stray away from the straight path again into goodness and save them. I am attached to a work that I love, to remove the sufferings of the poor and grant them what they lack. Hey, Bhagavan, this is very nice. I have a task to foster all mankind. And you said spread ananda. Well, this must be spiritual. Okay, Bhagavan, I now want to be your task force. I have a vow to lead all who stray away. And how can you stray anybody away unless you give them educational opportunity? That's the education wing. I am attached to work that I love, to remove the suffering. Bhagavan, this is seva. If these three wings, if these three mission statements of Bhagavan, if the Global Council, by coming together by three organizations, because in the material world, 1 + 1 + 1 is only equal to 3. But today, 1 + 1 + 1, if you're going to form a global council, it is 303,000. Why? Because we are strategically leveraging the strength and the ability of these three bodies. India has done many wonderful things, and so has the Sathya Sai International Organization. And if the Central Trust also comes together, then it becomes a beautiful, incredible coordinating body which will leverage and bring the whole organization to focus on the three mission statements. And this is how we opened this document, to capture the real purpose and essence of what Swami's mission is. So we said the objectives are to unify, strengthen, and expand the Sri Sathya Sai organization globally and firmly establish the connection to the sacred abode of peace, Prashanti Nilayam, with greater coordination and cooperation. And this is exactly the words that was already in the first document that they have proposed. We have retained that and modified a little bit, but there you are. Objectives: to provide a platform to harmonize the strength, ideas, and initiatives of the three organizations, founded, nurtured, and guided by Bhagavan, and draw support from each other's strength to reach out to humanity through seva and intensify sadhana of every office bearer and participating devotees. Why did we use these objectives? Because Brother Ratnakar and also Brother Naganand in their lectures to various places said this is just a body to what? To harmonize, to consolidate. And that is exactly what this Global Council, we were happy with this because this is what, it's good. We all come together for the sake of unity, and this is the objective for this. So what is the role of the Sathya Sai Global Council is to further the divine mission. Sri Sathya Sai Global Council will be these are the words in bold. See, unifying, coordinating, and consulting forum, while all the Sai organization work freely in the respective domains, maintaining the structure and functions intact. Why should we maintain the structure and functions intact? Because this is the implicit directions given by Bhagavan. And implicit obedience and adherence to Swami's teachings is the highest expression of devotion. What else is there? Otherwise, why should so many interactions, so many painstaking and meticulous directions given to form that charter and given that kind of specific guidance? Why should that guidance come in? It is because he specifically said, hey, this must be for this purpose. Hey, you guys manage this council, these institutions in India, and India will organize. He did it so nicely well. I used to think, this is how God, if God wanted to bring everybody together, he should have just created one liver. Why should he create liver, pancreas, and kidney? Guys, all of us have got 3 different organs. You should have just had one and have a liver specialist to manage the whole thing. He didn't do that. There's pancreas, there's liver, and there's kidney. And what is the most important thing? He created a very incredible network of immunological, network of nervous system and so on. Created a coordinating system by which all 3, if they harmoniously work together, then this is what good health is all about. And that is exactly the forum or the framework in which we wanted to create, and that is why we took a lot of pain. We thought this is a fantastic idea, and the SSGC will serve as a unifying forum to ensure that the above mission statements of Bhagavan and indeed the teachings and instructions of Bhagavan continue to guide the 3 Sai organization he has set up. These mission statements are currently being implemented, yet yes, it's implemented, no doubt. But when you come together, greater collaboration, cooperation of all these organizations, this is fantastic. from maybe this is another era in which all of us can work together and bring the mission more visible, impactful, and make it effective around the world. And this is fantastic. So we were all so excited, and we worked day and night for this. Now, visibility. Visibility is a very important part. Now we have all isolated a little bit, because India is one side. Maybe the Global Council, when they come together, when we work together in greater harmony, we can actually make the teachings of Bhagavan Baba more visible, make it go spread to all parts of the world, and give this incredible, invaluable gift to each and everyone. Wow, this is beautiful. This is fantastic. Another one is impactful. Consolidate and streamline these activities for the creation of quality and impactful programs. Because we today, dear brothers and sisters, the world has changed so much. Their sufferings, their depression levels are so low. We can, if we come together by harnessing the strength and knowledge of the three Sai organizations, we will be able to go to the most needy areas and create such an impact that Bhagavan will not just be happy, but as he always said, happy birthday, Swami, happy birthday, Swami. Don't make me happy, make me proud. And I think this is a very nice exercise to make him proud. And of course, dissemination and public outreach. This was also another big objective where we said that we come together, we can bring this to different parts, and it will be an incredible transformation of humanity through human values. Very nice. I think this, we thought that this was beautiful, and then we went on to write the structure in such a manner that we included 2 levels. Why did we include 2 levels? Because this was also included in their levels. When they proposed, we wanted to retain the spirit of the Global Council's initial intentions. I think I want to repeat this one more time. The original intention of the Global Council, based upon the original terms of reference, we wanted to retain the spirit of it. Therefore, we followed the same thing, like General Assembly, executive committees. We followed the same thing. In the General Assembly, in fact, theirs was a smaller. We, in fact, expanded. We said, hey, 3 trustees, chairman, all India president, all members of the National Council and National Coordinators, all Prashanti Council members, all directors of the World Foundation, all zonal chairs, central coordinators, and all National Council presidents of countries. Dear brothers and sisters, it's the whole world, the whole world. And who will address the General Assembly? The chairman of the General Council, which is Brother Chakravarti. We said that this is what the General Assembly can be. And we said that the meetings can be held twice a year, and we can have the successful General Assembly. We felt like a family spirit. We wanted everybody to come together, address it, and say, hug everybody. And this is like a very big, huge, amazing, incredible energy that we wanted to do. The following agenda, we even put the agenda. We took the time and the trouble to even summarize what is agenda. General introduction, overall summary, major highlights and impactful activities, best practices from the Sai organization, major announcements, vision and initiatives, everything and anything what an organization would normally do in a general sessions like that. We put all these things inside. It was so beautiful and inspirational. And then the chairman, we put there, hey guys, the chairman of the Central Trust, right now, Brother Chakravarti, he will, the chairman of the Global Council is Brother Chakravarti, and we'll have 2 vice chairmen. That is what they have proposed. We said we'll keep that same structure, no problem. The first appointment of chairman shall be for 2 years. And thereafter shall rotate every 2 years between the SSIOA and SSSO and SSCT. What an incredible value of friendship and brotherhood when we rotate this, and the other 2 becomes the core. That means to say we all are equal. There is no supervision, no this. And this is how we can demonstrate to the world that we are all one and the same. And that was what the coordinating body was all about. We had an executive committee, one which is similar to what they have as well, because we didn't want to change what they wanted to put. So we just put the same thing. 3 trustees nominated by Central Trust, chairman of SSIO, Prashanti Council members, directors of SSS, all zone chairs, and chairman of SSGC. All decision of executive committee shall be binding, where unanimously where possible, otherwise by a majority vote. So that means by majority vote, we can do this. And this is what we said. And this also, to some extent, was quite similar to that. And of course, Executive Committee 2 was more specific to India, which is the same thing. Now, meetings again, quarterly, the Executive Committee can meet quarterly, and the others can be meet twice a year. Role and objectives, have the two important tasks to steer and strategize the mission. And we also said, hey, we can come up with projects for 1 to 2 years, and then 2 years we all work together, and then the second year we'll come back and present the impact that we have caused to the world. Wow, I mean, this was good. Objective, to act as an advising, coordinating, and consulting body. That's what they were wanting, and this is exactly what we have put there. To facilitate the exchange of information between the three. That's exactly what will happen. As what Brother Leonardo said, if you have put those three members and reflected like that, we could have still functioned like that. Exchange ideas and insights. That is what exactly will happen. Recommend programs and new initiative to enhance the divine mission of Bhagavan. Yes, and to better coordinate the global mission of Sri Sathya Sai Baba, including activities in the ashram. We are not saying anything different from what they have said. We said all these things that they are saying, and we are all in total agreement. Number 6, to provide better access and facilitate. Anybody who's coming from here, they will be able to facilitate this whole thing, ensure rich spiritual experience for the devotees, provide a required education and training. All meeting held in November, each of the 3 organizations present the plan of action for the following calendar year. How can this possibly go wrong? It is so beautiful. And of course, we put this word there, everybody is doing it involuntarily. We even added an administrative committee 1 and administrative committee 2, whereby whatever action, whatever decision Global Council makes, then we have Indian Administrative Committee and the SIO Administrative Committee. Our job was to implement all the programs and ideas that they were there. Now, dear brothers and sisters, this is where the point of departure comes. Jurisdiction, selections, and appointment. The SSIO is saying we can do all this, whatever you wanted to do, we are able to do. But leave the appointments and selections here and leave it to the respective organization. SSIO is not interested how India operates or India selects like that. Each organization should operate. Now, the question that you have, what is wrong if Central Trust or the structure that they have proposed starts appointing? Dear brothers and sisters, this structure of governance that we have now got in our organization is an evolution from 50 years of work. It is not suddenly, it did not spring from somewhere. It was slowly, everybody practiced, everybody suggested. There were a lot of refinements that was made. And today it has come to a certain point of professionalism and excellence and culture is because of deliberate sacrifices of so many leaders along the way that we have created and come to a point in which it is so amazingly accepted. Now, retaining what? Retaining what? The culture. Retaining what? Respecting the laws of the respective countries. Retaining what? The traditions of each country. Therefore, everybody has done their piece of homework, evolved it to a state of perfection, and it's so beautiful. Is it so necessary that we should dismantle the structure and function, especially guided and directed by the universal Lord, the Lord of the universe? Should we do that? And if you want to do that, wouldn't Bhagavan himself would have thought of that when he was around in this physical form? Would he have not thought of that? Hey guys, listen, you don't have to be in 3. Why don't you all merge together? And he would have done that. The fact that the Divine Master prophetically thought that this is the best way in which we should govern, the implicit adherence and obedience to his words now should be to follow systematically, but create this harmonizing platform, if necessary, to move in this direction. So this jurisdiction, selection, and appointment, we clearly said that this cannot be tempered or cannot be touched. Second point, let me say, if their statement was clearly put that you can put anybody into any position and anyone, this is not a good culture at all. Believe me, from leadership perspective, people must now move from the center level, then show your leadership at the regional level, then show your leadership expertise at the national level, then move up to the zonal level. It should be where people should see your well accepted, your leadership. This is how we have grown. This is how we have nurtured. This is how we have fostered leadership in the respective countries. You cannot possibly parachute anybody into any position, and that will be the recipe for disaster, which is why we have said, never mind, leave these 2 parts of it. We'll manage that. The rest of it, you all manage in every sense of the word. Now, this is where I've summarized what the rest of these appointments are, basically per guidelines given by Swami and his own laws and protocol. All zonal chairs will be appointed by the chairman of SSIO. All country heads, central government will be appointed, but just leave the appointments to us because we know how it should be done in the best possible manner. And all these statements that are now subsequently coming is the expression of what I have just summarized in this open thing. So The structure and function of all three organizations have been given by Bhagavan and their respective strength in advancing the Sai mission around the world. They individually and collectively provide the foundation for the Global Council to be a successful, unifying, consultative, and coordinating body. The headquarters, yeah, this is this is another mischievous thing that is being circulated, and really that is not nice. Is it, what do you want? Do you want Prashanti Nilayam or do you want Los Angeles? I think that is not, I don't know, whoever says this, you all must nip in the bud. Nobody in this world, including everyone, Prashanti Nilayam is our home, and I think there's been numerous references to it being the spiritual headquarters. To simply equate that to some other place is not very nice. That should not happen. So we should correct people's perspectives, and we should be making sure that people have the right. If you want to have a discussion, you must know the documentations that has been done, read properly the whole work, and then see the differences and the disparity, and then discuss and make sure that the right people are empowered. So you see, office will seek information from zone chair, national chair. This is all headquarters and office, how we manage that office, which is the same that we have in the role. The role of Central Trust, we will continue to function in the same manner, helping Central Trust, helping India, and working together in this manner. So that is no problem. And yeah, it's okay. So okay, so now speakers, this is all speakers. So when we go like this, we always will appoint and get every resource that we need from everybody else. There'll be in SS Global Council, there'll be not be protocols of authority and power, but we clearly put in our statement, there will only be protocols of love and mutual respect. So there'll be no one body overpowering the other body, because liver doesn't overpower kidney, neither does kidney overpower pancreas. Each one must have a coordinating body. Like that, just as how God created the internal systems in our body to stay healthy, He created three bodies, mutually having love and respect. And in this manner, we can actually work together in great harmony and function. So this was our terms of reference, which we thought we will not have. Now, what they did was, they literally took this terms of reference on the 23rd, which was drafted. They took a 4 pages, I think, and put it onto theirs. And they continued to retain that identity of appointment. They wanted that appointment and authority. They wanted that. They used this document and put that document over and released as terms of reference 3, which is now available in the website. So you are now having seen the terms of reference in the website is an amalgamation of TOR1 and TOR2, which is ours there in the first 4 or 5 pages. But the main function is, whenever you talk to people, it's just that we are not interested or not wanting that appointment and the justification of selection, leave that to us. But everything else that they wanted is being bent backwards to accommodate because of this structure. And we said, okay, that is very nice. And we created this whole, mission statements from Swami in order for us to make sure that we fulfill. So this is how we are. This is where we are. So at this point of time, I just wanted to take some time to clarify what are the differences and what are the points of departure and how for us to move forward in this line. So in respect, what actually, in summary, what we are saying is that those who are going to Prashanti Nilayam are not denied of their seat and Mahasamadhi Darshan whenever the borders open. That is not denied. Number 2 is the fact that this is how we want to retain, and we'll continue the work as how that has been proposed by Dr. Reddy in the same manner, with same intensity, if not more, and do more things for the sake of serving society, community, and more importantly, humanity, and serving him in the best possible manner. I hope, there are any questions, I'm sure our other brothers will be able to answer. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sairam Narendra, if you allow me, I would like to add one comment.
Yeah, please, that's important. Yeah, just go ahead, because we need to have some time for discussion.
Yeah. It's very, very brief.
Yeah, brief. Yeah, go ahead, because I think we don't need to go too much anyway terms of reference in detail, but you could summarize.
The only thing I want to add is that I had the opportunity to speak with Satyajit, who was a caretaker of Swami, who lived with Swami for many years. And he told me that Swami told him a couple of years ago that he was going to leave his physical body. And he made preparations for that. He was before the sole trustee, so he created the managing council and several committees for the Central Trust. He made many, many preparations because he knew he was going to leave his body, but he never changed the international organization. So it is important to know that Dr. Reddy and Dr. Goldstein met with Swami a couple of months before he left his physical body. He reviewed our guidelines, he approved and blessed them. So he left us as he did at the beginning. So dear brothers and sisters, you have to be clear that the main thing here, not to be confused, is that we cannot betray the divine principles given by Swami, that the international organization should remain independent and autonomous.
Yes, that's a very important point Leonardo made, that Swami made them 3 autonomous. It is not only Swami insisted till for 10 years now past Samadhi, that is the way we are working, and we can continue to work that way. And there is no need to change. As Leonardo said in 2009, Swami made a thing where in Central Trust has a role to play for the Institute. Then Swami made a management council that they will do that. And then there are committees which will run. Then finally everything disappeared. Nobody followed it. So actually you should see that Swami wanted unity and diversity, everybody to do their own stuff like now in the international organization we do. But we are united in principle, united in Sai. We are not united in these various structures. We don't interfere. Even how you run your Central Trust in the Australia, I don't even know the details of balance. We are not interested because we trust you people. You know want to take care of your organization in Australia, your schools, your trust, your centers, that kind of thing. We need to empower people, not try to control, supervise, and authority. That is what we believe in. That is what I'm happy for the clarification. Yeah, please go ahead. Next part of the time is, I think, running out. So just let us go on, Krishna.
Dr. Reddy, there are a number of questions that come through. They're coming through thick and fast. Is it okay if we take the questions now?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Panel. I'll start off with the first one here. What are the key differences between the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization and Global Council? Why is unity with Central Trust conditional on appointments? Sounds like the heart of it. SSS, the international organization, didn't want any supervision from Central Trust or anyone else. Why was this a concern? I think in Suresh's address, he has actually covered a lot of this, but is there anything you would like to add to that?
Yeah, the main thing is the whole purpose, the Global Council, is as a coordinating and consulting and cooperative body, nothing to supervision, because the very fact you say somebody is supervising, that means they are higher than you. And who empowered the Central Trust? Swami said we are like, imagine you have father and mother, you have 3 brothers or 3 children, and each one God has given, you take care of this, you take care. And one brother says, yeah, we are equal, but I will tell you what to do. I will do. Will you accept that? That is not acceptable. And Swami himself guided over 60 years. We work as brothers. We work to cooperate. Who told you to supervise? Who? Only God is the one, our boss, and he is the thing. So that is the main condition is you cannot interfere, and that will mess up the whole thing. Like somebody from America will say, we'll appoint the president for Prime Minister of Australia. So each country, they have their own. Same thing is all organization, the guidelines, the bylaws, everything is developed by Bhagavan. We need. And also it was disturbing the structure of the various committees we have. We developed over course of time so many committees which do work, media committee, the IT committee, education committee. Here somebody comes over and tells what to do. That's not a thing. So any corporate, any organization, you need to have, and they themselves show autonomous. Even Chakravarti said that Central Trust. Now suddenly, why is it needed? I want somebody to show how can somebody controlling you help. Really, spirituality is not about control, about mutual respect and love and work together. So this really contradicts, number 1, Swami's instructions. Number 2, goes against the principles of Swami's teachings.
And also, I would like to add that is exactly why Swami dissolved the World Council, because Swami said that the members of the World Council didn't know the law, the traditions, the culture of the different countries of the world. So they couldn't be run from India. They couldn't be the body that will run the international organization. So Swami decided in 1987 that this is not working. That's why he created the international organization to be run by itself.
Good. I think that should answer the thing.
It does, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy and Brother Leonardo. The next question I have here is, I feel surprised and offended by the following cohesion of Dr. Reddy's email, where it says, I urge all international officers and members not to engage in communications or entertain any requests to join the Global Council, especially from the Central Trust and their representatives. Perhaps Dr. Reddy can answer the question, would this request be in line with the teachings of our Divine Master to amicably resolve a situation?
So this is completely in line, because Swami says, whenever something is against the Dharma and truth, because we had an agreement that we will join the Global Council, only these two conditions are met. That means, number one, no change in structure and function. Number two, we agree to the new terms of reference. And both those agreements were not honored, in which case, how can we get into engagement when somebody doesn't honor? So how can we join the Global Council? When they didn't honor and unilaterally and abruptly walked out of the whole thing, that means they're not keeping up their word, in which case we won't join Global Council. And then they go ahead and open the registration and say, hey, you guys come and join. That is causing a lot of disunity, division in the organization, and causing confusion and pain to so many devotees and officers. We are doing ourselves who are there. That's what still, for example, some problems is happening in the ashram, in the university, in the colleges. We hear things. Do I tell, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You need to correct. We don't. That is Swami said, you take care, Central Trust. Same thing in the international organization. Who are there to come and interfere? We said we'll work as a cooperating body, as somebody not to come and join the Global Council. That goes against the Swami's teachings. When somebody is giving you some misleading things, going against Swami's teachings, so our duty.
Since we started the spiritual path about the Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna instructed Arjuna to fight the Adharma. We cannot be witnesses of the Adharma with a silent attitude. They gave me their word to respect our structure and functioning many times. They gave to Dr. Reddy and to the members of the Representative Council that word. They put it into writing. And then they erase with the left hand what they have written with the right hand. We don't interfere with them. We don't go to the Central Trust and tell them, we want to appoint your members. We follow what Swami said, independency. So it is not dharmic what they are doing. So they said in the letter that they will insist on communication with the centers and the countries. This is not correct. This is not appropriate. And we cannot keep silent. Every devotee can do whatever they like. But they must know, we must convey to them what was Swami's will, what is Swami's divine command. If they want to follow the divine command and join the Global Council, you are free to do so. But you must know that you are not following the divine command.
That's a very good point. I think it's what people, some of the officers and devotees, particularly some countries, Europe and others said, who are these people coming and talking? We are happy the way we are as one family doing our work. Why are they coming and telling us what to do and why should we join? So this is causing, so we need to do that to avoid disruption and confusion among people.
Dr. Reddy, I'd like to add very quickly to this, Brother Krishnan.
Yes, please.
May 30th, I was present at the online meeting we had with the Central Trust. There were 10 of us, 5 on our side and 5 including Brother Nimish Pandya. Every one of them mentioned that there will be confirmed that there will be no change to the structure and function of the SSSIOA. We all heard that loud and clear. And it was on that basis that we all agreed to join. And the decisions that you're hearing are unanimous from the international organization. This is not just Dr. Reddy, Brother Leonardo, Suresh, and myself. This is all the Prashanti Council members, all the directors, all the National Council presidents that are with us, and all the zone chairs and the heads. We just want to follow Swami and do the work that he has assigned us. That's it. There is no change in our position or structure. We will work cooperatively with the Central Trust because Swami said, love all, serve all. So we'll continue to work with them, but we just want to follow his divine command. That's it. And this is what was confirmed at that meeting on May 30th. But what you saw on paper, what Brother Suresh showed you, doesn't confirm. So we just like to follow Dharma. Sairam.
Thank you, Brother Anupom. The next question is, can you please elaborate on the word supervision? What exactly was the perception of the international organization on that topic? Can we revisit supervisory issues and talk to the Central Trust to find a common ground? Can we be flexible on our negotiation regarding supervisory issues? Can you please elaborate on supervision and what exactly was the perception of the organization on that topic? Thank you.
First, Leonardo has hands up. First, let him tell, then I will add. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
It's not a problem of a word. It's what it implies. What they want is to have full control and power over the international organization. That is what we need to know and not be naive and innocent about that. That is what they are trying to do, and they stated when they insisted. They said that all the divine command words that we said were an excuse. That the important thing were the appointments, the authority, the supervision. It's because this is what they want. And we cannot be naive and accept that will disrupt completely the structure that Swami gave us. You know, Swami always acted and told us to act through the source, never by force. Look what they're doing. They're putting threats, they're putting conditions to go to the ashram. Have ever Swami put a condition to any human being to go to the ashram? Now I knew that some brother was concerned that if they don't join the Global Council, they will not be able to put the decoration in the ashram for Christmas. Is this more important than following the divine instructions, to follow what Swami has told us to do? Yes.
Yeah, we repeatedly said we will be happy to work as consulting, coordinate, cooperative body. And they insisted two things: no change in structure, and we are equal. In any office, a lot of you are executives and work in offices. When you say you have a supervisor, what does a supervisor do? Oh, we have supervisor equal to other. Supervisor means I will supervise you. I will tell you what to do, when you come, when you go, what you can do, what you cannot. And this is completely autonomous. Each one we have been running for 60 years. So that is not acceptable. And for them, I was surprised that Suresh Govind was showing, for us the mission is important. Spreading Swami's message, Swami's teaching, Swami's love, doing Swami's work, doing service. That is where we said we'll work together. And this, leave it alone. This is what is happening. This is what Swami developed over 60 years. And interfering, they said that is important. And second is they were also disrupting the various committees which were doing wonderful work. So these two are not acceptable. That is the reason we approached many times. Please consider, change it, remove it. That is the only word we removed, and they are objected. No, we have to have. That means, hey, we will be your boss, best you control that. This is not acceptable. So I think it is getting late. I think you said up to 1.5 hours. I don't want to keep.
We'll just take a couple more questions.
Okay. Is it okay for people? You said only 1.5 hours. You said.
Yes. If you don't mind, we'll just take a few.
For us, it is okay. I think I was talking about the devotees. Yeah.
And excuse me, Krishna.
Yes.
They are asking why we are not flexible. We're in the process of a discussion, and they close the door. How can we be flexible when they said, don't call us anymore? They were supposed to continue the conversations with us, the discussions, and see if we can reach an agreement. But suddenly they said, don't call us anymore, don't email us, just surrender to our terms of reference or be away. So,
Okay, go ahead.
Next question is, why are you so special that you don't need supervision? As a center member, even I don't think I need your supervision, and who can I invite to speak at my center, and what is taught in SSC?
Right. Nobody needs, only God is our supervisor. I really told God is our boss and he is the one who supervises. That is why we don't want any body to supervise. We are just continuing to respect the structure and function of the organization. So just 1 second. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
But it says here, the chairman of the international organization is part of the executive committee in what Suresh has just shown us.
Yes.
So what is the problem?
That's why it said there is central trust is the supervising body. They will appoint and they will supervise. It is very clearly mentioned. So that is why if you go there, they said the Global Council chairman and the central trust, they will be appointing, they will have a role whom to remove and take it out. So it is clearly a supervising role, and that will completely be going against what Swami has given us the structure and function.
Thank you.
Okay.
The next question is, does this entire disagreement have to do with funds? And who controls it? Does this disagreement have to do with people holding on to positions of power?
No, it comes to only the principles and teachings of Swami. Anything which goes against the principles and teachings of Swami, we don't hold. And no position is permanent. Nobody is permanent. But Swami's mission and Swami's message is eternal. So we need to stick to that and we need to follow that. And once Swami clearly gave the guidelines, now to go against that, it is completely unacceptable. What Swami said, as I said before, May 17th, 1968, in his discourse in his first World Conference, following my teachings implicitly, immediately, completely will take you to the goal more than any other spiritual practice. So we are trying to adhere to the word, because it is not given just one time. It is given over the course of so many years by Swami personally. As you said, Leonardo was part of the discussion, Dr. Harvey was that. So he called us to home. He told everything what we should do in running the organization. How could we completely disobey and go against the command of this organization? And also what Swami gave. Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding funds, we never received 1 cent from the Central Trust, and we have always given to them. During the last 25 years, millions of dollars were sent to them to help their work. So I don't know if they want more, but we're giving every cent.
Actually, Swami said, there is a good point. Swami said any Sai organization, devotee has as little to do with money as possible. So we should not talk about the money, but if they are talking about money, we have supported many activities. International organization, overseas Sai devotees have supported. So it is main thing, we need to have our resources devoted to our activities, but still we are supporting. As I said, many of the icons you see in Prashantilayam, including these the hospitals, the educational institutions, Chaitanya Jyoti Museum, Mirpur College of Music, and then sports stadium. These were all supported by our overseas devotees. They did it because of their love and their offer as gratitude to Bhagavan, not for anything else. They will continue to do that because there's a relation between Swami. They did not for me or for the sake of SSSIOA or trust or the ashram. They did because they love Swami. They want to express their love by participating in various activities and support the activities. I think we should probably conclude now, Krishnan.
Okay, can I just take one more question? This last question. Is the dharma of keeping the international organization separate from the global council greater than the dharma of keeping devotees in a country united in Swami's name? Keeping the latter dharma in mind, would we join the Global Council?
Okay, really the Global Council, that's very good. So the purpose of the Global Council was to bring unity. And you know what it has been doing? It is creating disunity. The proof of the pudding is in eating. So if we are creating, so every place they are calling people and saying, join this, so they're causing division between brother and brother, among the centers. That is what it is doing. So why should, when the motive is creating disharmony, disunity, that is adharma. So we cannot cooperate with adharma. So we need to stand. Swami said, clearly said, don't be like Bhishma when adharma was going on, those people are doing, he kept quiet. And similarly, we cannot be silent to what the disunity being created in the name of Global Council. So we need to stand firm. So, and we need to educate our devotees. Hey, for us, following Swami's teachings and adhering is more important, and stand against adharma. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy.
Anybody like Leonardo or Suresh or Anupom want to add anything to that?
Well, you said it very clearly. They are the ones that should think about the disunity they are creating.
Right.
We cannot, for the sake of unity, forget the divine principles. Divine principles are above everything.
Right. I agree, Dr. Reddy. My only comment is that we'd like to follow Swami, not follow the managing trustee, and we'd like to continue doing the work that we have been doing around the world. And this is a perturbation. Swami says passing clouds. These are passing clouds. The organization Swami set up around the world will continue doing seva to humanity and to Swami. Let's think about it, brothers and sisters. Please go over the information you had today. We belong in an organization started by the Lord of the universe, not a holy person, not just any other avatar or a guru or some leader. This is started by Swami himself. And now that he is gone, Brother Leonardo and I got this question a couple of days ago when we were talking in USA, that who is your parent now? Because the parent is gone, don't you want to go to the central trust? We said, Swami is our parent. He is running the show. Every one of us that are working here, we are being guided by him even now. And you will see proof of it in many cases. Just because you don't see his form, don't think he's not here. Don't think that he's gone anywhere. And Brother Leonardo and I reminded them again that we all work for Swami and will continue as that. There is no change in that. From the center point of view, the devotees are asking us, how does it change? We told them nothing, no change. Just forget all this and just keep doing your good work, do your sadhana, your education, your SSC classes, all the service work. You can continue to go to Prashanti. You may not have the privilege of sitting in the first row under the mandir or next to the samadhi, but that's a small sacrifice. We like to follow Swami's teachings and his commands. That's it. Sai Ram.
Thank you. Dr. Reddy, as a general question, this is a common theme that is coming along, and that is, in making all these decisions, whether to go with the Global Council or not, members want to know, did you take it right down to the membership of each center? In other words, devotees everywhere. Were they consulted and about coming up to a decision whether they want to join the Global Council or not?
In general, the way we operate, we cannot go to every devotee, but all the officers, like the senior leaders, Prashanti Council, World Foundation directors consulted. Zone chairs, they were consulted. Zone chairs, they in turn consulted central coordinators. Now you are a party, you should be able to answer the question. They in turn communicated with the National Council presidents. National Council presidents communicate with the central president. Central presidents will talk. And some countries, some people don't want to be bothered with that. Some countries like Zone 8 Russian countries, they said, we are happy with the SSIOA they are running. Please don't even send us any information. In which case we can't. So we leave it to the discretion of the zone chair and these National Council presidents to share that information depending on the need. And some countries like in Spanish, Latin America, like Leonardo can testify, all those Central American countries. They said, we are happy with the SSSIOA running. We are all united. Why do we even, please don't even give this information and waste our time and energy. So we give the discretion to the officers. You share with the thing. We send the communication. We give it to the judgment. You yourself told one time, oh, Dr. Reddy, please let them not send to the devotees. You will take a responsibility who should be informed. So we give that responsibility and discretionary judgment to people to share so that they are informed. Right, Leonardo, in your, like Latin America, there is no problem. We cannot, very heterogeneous. They actually will damaging more by sharing in those countries. Yeah, go ahead.
In Latin America, I spoke with all the National Council presidents, with every officer in Zone 2B and 2A. All of them participated. All of them gave their opinion, and all they were unanimously supporting the SSIO, and they wanted to stay with the SSIO Swami will.
Again, Dr. Reddy, I can confirm that in Zone 3, I've had meetings with the central coordinator, the deputy central coordinator, and the National Council presidents of all 3 countries. And where the National Council presidents have invited me to speak to the National Council, I have spoken to them. I've spoken to the councils in Australia. I've spoken to the National Council in New Zealand. And interestingly, in New Zealand, many came back and said, look, we are very happy with the way we are going. Please do not trouble us. In fact, our Zone 3 medical coordinator told us, look, I do service every year at the super specialty hospital. If I'm prevented from going there to do service to Swami's people, then I'm quite happy to stay where I am and do service in the Pacific countries and Fiji, where there is also a need for my services. So we have spoken to everybody. Whoever wanted to listen, we will speak to them. But when they tell us, no, leave us alone, we are happy, our center is progressing, and as long as you don't come and change the functioning of our center, we are happy, we have left it to them.
That's why you gave the answer. So you have been having the input from your officers and devotees. So each one takes care in their own way. So we can't, yeah. That is why we are not like one country, heterogeneous population. What is good in Russian countries, what is good in Spanish, Latin countries, South America. So each country is different, and wherever it is possible, they are having the meetings with the officers. Like in USA, they go to the regional presidents. Each president talks to the central president, and same thing they did in Malaysia. So they have been in communication. They gave their input, and finally we leave the choice. Like Lord Krishna said, our duty is to tell this is the way it is. Final choice is yours. 2 important things. Yate chesi tatha kuru. Lord Krishna says, tells the whole thing. My duty is to tell you the truth. Finally, brothers and sisters, you do what you want. This is not by force, by source. But for us, the most important commandment, like Arjuna says after listening, Karishye vachanam tava. Lord, I will do exactly what you say. So for us, we have duty to share with you the truth, facts, and you do what you want. But our duty, which is given to us by Swami, we will implicitly stick to the instructions given by him at all costs. That is our duty and dharma. We need to, that is our life breath. We cannot compromise on that. So people have to decide, we have to say, do we want to follow the organization founded, nurtured, guided, and nourished by Bhagavan, which is such an international, let's say, is it dharma to prevent people to have any connection, Prashant Nilayam, or do programs? Swami never, that itself is not Swami. Swami's love is unconditional. He would never put any conditions. You yourself need to go inside and inquire, is this what Swami wants? So that is very painful. You should think, things are very obvious. People say when they read the documents, Krishnan, you should share, probably you're not, that saying where they say authority, order, control, supervision. Is it Swami's way? Love knows no power, no control, no authority. Love knows only giving and forgiving, not control. So just please share with them. This is very important. So when you have needed information, they will be happy to supply to you. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Reddy, look, thank you so much. What really brought about the need for this webinar was people wanted to hear from the people who were directly involved in the discussions with the Central Trust. And all of you, dear brothers, have done a wonderful job for us today. You have provided so many answers that our devotees were after and provided clarity. Yes, Suresh?
One last point. I just want to reiterate that conference when we had.
Yeah.
We mentioned that anytime any devotees are having confusion, don't stay at the top of the ocean, because at the top of the ocean are a lot of waves.
Yes.
You must get to the seabed, where the seabed is where, remember the formula that was given was get to the seabed. The only way you can get to the seabed is keep some silence, go to the inner depth and ask the Atma to take a reply. Don't ask the mind to reply. Ask your own Atma to decide and then follow the Atma. That is how in every confusion you must gain clarity. That's the methodology that was given at that conference, and devotees must now practice that, isn't it? Saira,
thank you. Thank you, Suresh. That was wonderful. So, to all my dear brothers, thank you for taking the time to clarify all these doubts and confusion that is in the minds of many of our people. But I want to assure all the people on the call that if you have any questions or you want clarity, feel free to contact anyone. Contact Brother Indrabalan, the National Council President. You can ring me if you like, and we'll provide the clarity. And everything is based on documentary evidence. As Dr. Reddy has taken us through this, he has shown us where the divine command was. He has shown us what the organization chart was that came out directly from the annual report of the Central Trust in 2011. So everything was in place there, and whatever we have said is backed up by documentary evidence. So this is the
Krishnan, I want to conclude, just take 2 minutes. First, I would express gratitude to Bhagavan and for his love, grace, and blessings and guidance. Throughout this discussion, I could feel his presence. He's guiding all of us. And also our colleague panelists who have expressed beautifully their understanding of Swami's teachings and the SSSIOA. But I want to take home 3 things people remember, because we had so long discussion. Number 1, SSSI International Organization will continue the way it is. All the centers, groups, schools, trusts, and institute, no change. And again, we talked to all the officers in the last 1 week. So all the countries, 107 countries, they recommitted, they went to their officers, devotees, and they met in different countries, they committed. So we are all in this together. Second thing is, we are not joining Global Council because the 2 conditions which they said they will meet, they did not meet. So that is important thing. So it is they who abruptly closed the discussion and unilaterally told that there is no dialogue, mail or communication. Number 3, our connection with Swami and the Prashant Nilayam is forever till our last breath. Now, finally, our goal is implicitly follow divine instruction. It doesn't matter who it is. We won't change. In the name of unity, people create confusion, division, and doubt. That is not acceptable. Just go back, show wherever Swami said that power and light.
So, Dr. Reddy, let me assure you that in Zone 3 countries, in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, all the members are doing wonderful work. And I don't think anybody can deny that. All the work that is being done around the country, serving the poor, and in Fiji with the coronavirus situation, all this work is going on. And that will continue unabated. So we will continue the work. And as I said, many centers are saying, we just want to be left alone. And we will do the work we have been doing for years. And every year, it is improving in quality. And we are reaching more and more people now. So I can assure you that will continue in all the Zone 3.
Congratulations to you and your team and all the SSSIOA members and the devotees. Congratulations.
Thank you very much indeed, brothers, for this. Donit, can we finish off with the prayers, please?
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Sai Ram, everyone. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.